The incredible true facts of space present Cats Cooking Spaghetti in the Old House, sponsored by Elevator World magazine. Cats cooking spaghetti in the old house, and books on feline cookery like Tibble's Italiano, Calico Cookery, Grimalkin Gastronomy, Beyond Mice, too. Books written for cats by mechanical intelligence. Spiritualized by dreaming of phone pocket protectors, purifying the pasta, and biro pens with a vodka sauce, writing on the wall, protections from the corrupt world. And then, suddenly, I don't have to use umbrellas, even though it rains.
Ooh.
Traditional Greek pasticcio. It's delicious. The rain no longer makes contact with my body. It storms off my greasy face.
Oh.
Which proves the tongue that doesn't really have taste.
It has gerrymandered chemical zones with highly adhesive properties, which is why Tide Pods taste like natural selection. Besides, Little Italy is in their hearts, and the gun barrel only tasted salty because they were crying when they had it in their mouth. The fur always sticks to the tongue, said Bollycat. It confirms that model airplanes used to come in boxes like spaghetti. Cardboard paper shapes. According to the Italian Space Command, a box can exceed its topographical dimensions with the proper multidimensional inserts. The cats were doing this over the fire on the range. I had the orange and white metal tube of Tester's airplane glue. Delicious. Chemical zone bitters, as I'm coming at you with electric lamb breath. Driving, I hear a sound form and time travel to my room. The glue is ghosting under the tensor lamp, devilishly sneaking inside nostrils and opening doors. Inside one of those was Asanta Cantasano, who perfected the ragu sauce in her home in Rochester, New York, and founded Pastafarianism to worship the flying spaghetti monster's invisible airplane. I came back to this physical realm and I could smell the garlic and olive oil, as well as the wild hissing coming from the kitchen. Glue, like gluten, like donuts filled with pastry. Igloos hold ice together. Like the elfin creatures that hold our hand via the other side of life hold this dream together.
Yeah.
Under his watchful eye, as he flies invisibly through the sky. The aliens appeared, broke my leg, and then sent a sign saying that they were not enough cute little rodent pets in translucent tubes. They were angry that their invention had failed to dominate the pet industry.
We'll return after these messages.
It is a recognized fact that there is no more important and useful machine than a hoist or modern elevator. And, at the same time, all will acknowledge that there is no more dangerous machine to life, limb, and property than an elevator. And it is the duty of all owners, agents, and users to see that their elevators are equipped with all modern safety guards that mechanical ingenuity can devise. for protection as well as a great saving of time and money. Could we have before us a list of the many thousands of elevator accidents that have occurred this year, we would stand appalled at the innocent victims, maimed or killed by these devices. Let us open our hearts to new ideas of elevator safety. As you plan to join us at the Grand Expo, we hope you will continue to enjoy the dramatic program Cats Cooking Spaghetti in the Old House, brought to you by the civil men of Elevator World magazine.
Now,
they explain that these Habitrail's future cities are a model for our own furry runners and sandmen, and this tiny little shrew was the common ancestor of every placental mammal on Earth.
You have done what you could. Some blunders and absurdities no doubt crept in. Forget them as soon as you can. Tomorrow is a new day.
The odd men from space then retired to the kitchen, presumably to help the cats finish our spaghetti. The creatures had previously arrived, establishing the look and feel of Habitat 67 in Montreal. Jenny Agater cried out when the robot died. He told me that nobody really knew how scales work, like fish scales, or weight scales, or money, or relationships. The scale on a map fails to capture the territory in Stratego or the essence of Orson Welles in the Dark Tower electronic game.
Last night I journeyed backwards in time. The computer kept track, giving me secret information, pictures, sounds, surprises.
Despite these facts, they demand more Habitrail and stole my Winnebago. This was proven with wine and snacks demoed in the mall that afternoon. Crackers were served a la carte. And famously, an entity made of light in the cheese store gave me $500 and then disappeared. Only after whispering that I and the pussycat should go with the pecorino or the Asiago, or, if we felt like living in sin, plain old mozzarella.
Ooh.
Cheese.
He was licking his light lips with his light tongue, and then he vanished. The cat only wanted the strongest of those. So we went with a funky pecorino and let the others settle things Romano. The holidays are the real reason they don't play violin music on the radio, or at the father and son store in the mall, where somebody named Mankind is getting their first suit today. The tailor marked his pants with chalk, gave him a sticker of a cat cooking spaghetti, flashing the peace sign. I walked to the garden where a newly distressed sign warns that birdseed from the corner store is much too flavorful.
squawk, 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 squawk.
The simulant clerk lied to me about how many electronic devices come with voltage converters, which led to a frenzied conversation about epigenetic and spooky actions from the distance, where we realized we were all related after all. Felix pulled a handful of spaghetti seeds from his bag and tricked the inspector by selling them for a small fortune. The cats in the kitchen received word over the all-frequency scanner. The seeds were in. This meal would satisfy a giant,
while completely baffling Inspector Frank.
As Mama said, trusting is good, but not trusting is better. She coughed like an old car and then spoke with authority, asking, "Did you know that it turns out ropes are made of tiny ropes? electrons.
Huh?
They're like magnets because each particle is like a little magnet inside the magnet. And these threads, they become shirts or ropes or freedom because capture would leave our soul naked. Suddenly, we were all tied up and the cat was purring. The water was on the boil. I asked the store clerk about the flat fountain, and he said, the soda machine needs ice to make the fizz work.
Ooh.
So we drank flat Dr. Pepper at 2 p.m. and made signs for homeless men standing at intersectionalities, asking for ice from blind, indignant problems of conditioning, which were as good as bread or a wedding with dried figs. To a fine Italian grandmother, we nodded in agreement, and many lights briefly flashed. The consumer can figuratively remove all the tags they want, as long as they don't stick it inside or between the mattresses with oily rags piled high. And now, with the head empty, the heart became steady like Charlie Watts. This was while the cat added several tablespoons of salt to the water, for saporito, and to counter the effects of being simultaneously dead and alive. I shared this over Thanksgiving, oblivious to the dangers. I saw a ghost standing over the table, la escoba, the act of moving things, tiny things often, from here to there and elsewhere. Brooms haunt the floor. Thoughts of these cats swept through my head. Brain chemicals follow the gradient flow, thinking of facts, the sad tale of too much starch. They'd failed to use enough water. Kitty cats should plan to find a large pot for the best pasta. And don't forget, add the salt. We know, for instance, if you lose the cap on the milk container, you can stuff a clean rag in the opening. Even a frog's handkerchief could plug the plastic jugs, forming a nexus between humans, Italian food law, toxoplasmosis. But that will not save you from the dangers of too much starch. Don't glue it shut, Tony said, thinking again of the potential problems with glue. Then, my brother proved instantly that birds do not like lasers to be shined into their eyes. The cats became transfixed as feathers danced within the coherent light. The glue stuck.
Commercial break.
We hope you're enjoying Cats Cooking Spaghetti in the Old Kitchen, with limited commercial interruption. Here are the instructions for traveling to another dimension. Find a building with more than 10 floors. Go inside the elevator on the first floor. You must be alone. Dimension travel isn't strong enough to transport more than one person. Your best bet is to do this at night. Starting at the first floor, ride the elevator to the following floors in this pattern: 4 to 2 to 6 to 2 to 10. When you stop on each floor, do not exit. You can, but you will abort the dimensional travel. Make sure no one else gets in either, or they will inadvertently stop you. Now go to the 5th floor. A woman will get in. Do not talk to her under any circumstances. She may try to engage you in conversation. It's a trap. Some sources say that making eye contact with her is dangerous too, but this is false. She is not human. Now press 1. The elevator will start going to the 10th floor instead.
This is your last chance to abort the mission by pressing any button to stop and exit.
When the elevator reaches the 10th floor, the travel has been completed. The woman will vanish at this point. You can now exit the elevator to explore the new world. The civil men of Elevator World magazine thank you for thinking of us. Now, back to our program. The sheriff and his deputy wailed harpoon murder, featuring shame in the form of paper pockets full of paper dress patterns. And the illustrations on those covers had a humble simplicity that felt like a peanut's sigh, which the cooking cat found preposterous. A pattern had appeared. The time was completely elastic, yet people constantly died. He continued telling an old story about airplane glue where he said, I taught an old man to play checkers, and he made up his own rules. He was that sort of gentleman, insisting that each piece had its own unique rules and its own unique glue. He gave me secret knowledge that you can put extra staples underneath the staples in the stapler, concluding with a statement, without these daily wheat products, life itself would prove impossible. The ancient Chinese made kites from children's rib cages and performed the tempest inside of curry houses, which is why the world has noodles. Confucius, say through Shakespeare,
I would not wish any companion in the world but you, nor can imagine form a shape besides yourself to like of.
In their factories or over drinks outside, they shared that solar-powered calculators have fake solar cells and real batteries inside. It's still solar-powered, just not how you think. The garlic looked like tiny sailboats in the marinara. Batteries have chemicals within them. 9 volts tastes like electricity. And he warned that we should never rescue the reckless. And advised, the thermostat in your house needs to be approached as if it were the wheel of a large ocean liner. Because you can sink and die in the ocean, leaving the temperature in flux. The kitchen was heating up. We were headed straight for the iceberg.
Danger.
Cats, using kitchen tools, caused the disappearing man in the cheese store to give me a note. It read, Time is the secret you seek. Can you find it? All it takes is a little courage and the whisper of the divine. But I had no herbs. This happened when the Titanic sank. Deck chairs could have been fixed under the water with glue, but the sitter will never forget the day he sat and did plummet and drown in the mouth of the wolf in Boca El Lupo, chewing our bowls of love. Janitors learned that a new broom sweeps clean, but the old broom knew where to hide the crumbs. He said this again and gave me more money, louder this time and with more passion. Take a drink, raise your elbow, as proof of Benjamin Franklin. It's like sheep's milk for the macaroni. To be for the glory of the cat, Esero del gato. Moses said, for 1,000 years in your sight are like a day that has just gone by, or like a watch in the night. Our fate can resemble a fruit tree in winter, those summer days, when the noodles are ready to harvest, but we are all fated to haul around these unused umbrellas for most of the time. We must be thankful for the fire before us. It is the sun, bottled up into solar-powered wood. The tabby was tossing spaghetti at the cabinet doors, meowing. He can only do so much. As his tongue caught a falling noodle, I remembered that a penny saved is a penny earned. The man in the moon lives in a bowl of cream, such that cats drink him up daily. He knows the fish under your boat do not care if you know how to float. They're more worried about trying not to drink all the water, which is their medium. The fish know that pasta and the cooking water have a relationship that eventually gets strained. One of the cats, Felix, had had enough. He curled up for a nap in the warm kitchen. Be there two fish in the tank? Does not one turn to the other and say, "You man the guns, I'll drive"? Words are tools, not meaning. Map is not territory. The Maine Coon dropped a noodle on the wooden floor. It fell into the exact shape of a snippet from the waveform for Toto's hit song Africa, which is shaped like the continent we now call Africa, even though it might really be a large island instead. Even before the song fell off Casey Kasem's shaggy lip, this was so. A lot of history is surprising, like flying Santa, or looking down from your sled and you see Santa drinking the reindeer urine Miss Claus makes as a tea. Come on over. I've got a gallon of gray market mercurochrome and enough cuts to use it. I can sting your hand, making you live forever, sometimes in that moment, or at least when we paint the anchor. Do you like cats? I'll teach you life strategies. For example, if you have a certain bowl that you use for cereal, a simple bowl of cereal morning becomes a private soul ceremony. My brother has 4 bowls and 4 ceremonies. But it's hard to count, one day to the next, as if it was not only a series of those days, but a complex collection of ceremonial bowls and ceremonies. These are the bowls the cats chose to use. So many things are their opposite that I have learned to make use of a rule, calling up the duality of electric poles and the 3-dimensional flower of magnetic flux. I can harness carbohydrates telepathically by imagining cats cooking spaghetti. The word got out. Elvis Presley summoned his partners, Frankenstein, Dracula, the robot, and the cook, all on a wagon train headed west.
Hey, little angel. Send up about 38 silver dollar pancakes and about a gallon of syrup, baby. And a fresh TV.
Therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more important than food, and the body more important than clothes? They were in the shadow of my reality, cast by reflections from my wishes, hopes, and dreams. The correct way to hold a teacup is with bleeding hands. The stigmata of flavored water inform spiders to weave messages in their webs. Beware of cats cooking spaghetti. Meanwhile, back in the jungle ice of America's first Civil War, some sick bastard named Charlie Plank assassinated Abraham Lincoln's dog Fido, tragically while whittling a stick. This is the main reason that reality cut his dog's life short in 1865, but the Union's draconian trade practices were also to blame. Cats were among the favorite pets of Civil War soldiers in blue and gray, and usually shared dinner with the men. The chief cat walked out of the kitchen on his hind legs, pushing a cart full of spaghetti balls. We gathered with the tiny alien creatures at the little table where the taste of crisp and cold iced tea reminded me of better days back home. It reminded me of colleagues and friends that you can choose to be fully present at the table of life, or live with the unintended possibilities. We watched them fade forever. Cats cooking spaghetti and all that. We watched them one by one, like the eventual heat death of all stars, or various 100-watt bulbs pinpointing the reality of a sky littered with lights, and entities appearing in cheese shops, with cats in the kitchen cooking spaghetti for the abandoned war heroes of our past. It was so good that we went to sleep with our bellies full. The cats had done it again. Thank you, cavalry cats, that kept our brothers comforted during the Great Spaghetti War in the 1860s. We will love you forever as we eat your pasta and contemplate the complete disaster in the kitchen. Epitaph, a whale of a tale. Jonah knew what he was supposed to do. He chose not to do it because it was hard. Because of this, his life was thrown into chaos, the sea and a great monster swallowing him whole. This will always happen to you. If, like Jonah, you get another chance, then stand up and do what needs to be done. Say what needs to be said, or suffer hell on earth.
Hey, you finally made thick spaghetti sauce.
Our daughter-in-law Nancy had us over for spaghetti dinner. It was not bad. Even my husband Angelo liked it. Then I found out it was ragu spaghetti sauce from a jar. Well, before I could say anything, Nancy told me it's made from the same things I put in my own sauce, like ripe tomatoes, Romano cheese, spices, herbs.
Introducing Ragu Extra Thick and Zesty Spaghetti Sauce for people who like extra thick sauce.
That's really thick.
It's made with a touch more Italian seasoning.
It's good, huh?
And all the wholesome ingredients you expect from Ragu. New Ragu Extra Thick and Zesty and traditional Ragu Spaghetti Sauce. That's Italian.
The incredible true facts of space.
The incredible true facts of space. The incredible true facts of space. The incredible true facts of space. The incredible true facts of space. The incredible true facts of space.